Introducing 2 new Subway melts. Try the new chicken cordon bleu melt stacked with juicy chicken, black forest ham, and melted cheese. Or the new $5 footlong chicken marinara melt. Tender chicken covered in marinara sauce and melted cheese. Melted goodness made irresistible. Subway melts. Subway, eat fresh. The B.S. Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The B.S. Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the B.S. Report. Taping this on a Tuesday, running on a Wednesday. We called JackO at the end of my Cousin Sal podcast, and it just kind of kept going and going and going. So now, it's a whole podcast. Anyway, he's on the Subway Fresh Take hotline. We called him. Here's what happened.
Bill, JackO, partners in crime. The Subway Fresh Take hotline.
Complex Litigation, this is John.
Johnny,
Hey there.
what's happening?
Not much, buddy. How are you?
People were worried in the signings that you were mad at me from the last podcast. I had to call quickly and make sure you weren't mad.
No, I think it was good. It left it like a cliffhanger, kind of like a Who Shot JR.
Got a lot of feedback from people wondering if we were okay, if you were still mad. Some
No.
people are split. Some people thought I shouldn't have done it. Other people loved it.
Well, that's, it's 50-50, I guess. No, I wasn't. You and I jokingly said that you and I were going to meet up like the two Corys at some diner in L.A. You could wear your sunglasses and put up your hoodie. Say, let's do this.
Let's do this.
I would like to utter that line, but I think I'm more the Haim to your Feldman, so.
It's tough. We could play either role. Well, when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, I'm going to allow you to call me and play back excerpts of my podcast last week after the 4th and 2 call.
I'm going to read your Belichick column back to you. Yeah, exactly.
Quick baseball talk, like 10 minutes.
All right.
10 minutes?
Sure.
So, Roy Halladay.
Yes.
Red Sox in the mix, apparently.
Yes.
Miguel Cabrera.
Sox are in that mix, too?
Sox are in the mix, according to the Detroit News.
Really?
Very much in the mix, yeah.
That's interesting. Not sure he's the guy you want to put in your clubhouse.
Well, 26 years old.
Yeah.
Big contract, obviously.
Huge.
Got a first place MVP vote yesterday.
Yes, he did, from the Kyoto News Agency.
Slugger fits my qualification of let's get somebody who might be able to hit over 300 with 40 homers, unlike the guys we have now.
Could argue he's the poor man's Manny, right down to his attitude.
Yeah, maybe
the homeless guy's Manny.
A slightly drunker Manny.
Well, exactly. He's Manny with a little more off the field issues, I guess.
So rank those guys in your fear of which guy we would get.
I'd be more nervous if you got Halladay, because a frontline pitcher. Although I must say, and I will, this will probably be read back to me should the Yankees somehow pull off a trade, but that's okay. I thought he might have been a little bit on the downside the second half of last year. Now, that could have been because of the whole trade rumor thing and didn't know if he was going to wake up one day and be wearing a different uniform. But he came in the Yankee Stadium, and he had owned the Yankees for his whole career, and he got knocked around pretty good by the Yanks. I think he left, and it was like 5-0. And the whole second half, he was not really lights out. He's also 32 years old. He's not 20 in his 20s anymore. But having said that,
curb
enthusiasm thing.
Nice.
Having said that, he still can be quite dominant, and if you put him together with Beckett and the corpse of Dice K, and I assume you're going to have to part with Buchholz, so I wouldn't even count him, but with Lester and Beckett and the corpse of Dice K and him, that would frighten me more than Miguel Cabrera. Now, Cabrera obviously can put up big numbers, but you have to worry a little bit about the makeup of a guy that goes out and gets drunk the night before, like the most crucial. What was it? When he go out and it was like right before the end of the season. He went out and got drunk.
He blew the .26, Johnny.
Or was it? It wasn't the one game playoff. It was like
no,
the
it was
final
during the weekend,
right?
Yeah, it was
the last
final
weekend
weekend
of the season.
Yeah.
He went out and got in a little scuffle with the wife for showing up drunk at 5 a.m. or whatever. And the team was none too pleased with him. Plus, he's had like weight issues. I mean, I know he puts up big numbers, but he's never quite been. I mean, he could be a-Rodian, if that's a word, if he wanted to be, but he doesn't seem to have put the mental part together.
Here's why I like it, and I'm probably going to double dip because I think I'm going to bring up this theory in my column this week. But I think the Red Sox need a guy like that. Not the guy who's going to hit 300 with 40 homers and
they need
400 bat. No. They need the guy that everybody else can talk. Yeah, they need the guy that everybody else could talk about and be like, "Did you see Cabrera at the hotel bar last night? He was sloshed." Or they need the guy who's like, "Did you see? What's up with Cabrera today? Why is he in such a bad mood?" The Red Sox have all these robots now. We need a non-robot.
Well, I mean, he would give you a little personality, but I think that Boston could just eat him alive too. The media.
But I think Boston needs that. Is my point. I think we need a guy like that. We need a guy to like point to and make jokes about. And I'm just saying, all Boston fans, we're conditioned to have guys like that in the team. And last year's team had none of those guys. It was this team of just solid guys who took pitches and took care of business, and we sucked. Well, we didn't suck, but we won 95 games. But we obviously, when push came to shove, we had no oomph.
Well, the funniest thing I've seen in a long time is what I read today on the Boston Globe, that the Red Sox are actively shopping Mike Lowell. I'm like, really? I'm actively shopping a 1965 Volkswagen Bug that has no wheels or an engine as well. Any takers?
How many times can we offer to trade somebody and pay 90% of their contract before people wonder about Theo Epstein?
Exactly. I mean,
this is like guy number 6. We're saying, hey, we'll pay 90% of his terrible contract if you want him.
Right. He's owed $12 million next year. I mean, that's really legendarily bad contract.
You know what killed the Red Sox there is the obvious move was to let him go.
Yeah.
And I think I was on the board with this one. Like, you couldn't, because they just won the World Series.
Guy won the MVP in the World Series.
They're chanting "Resign Lowell" in Colorado as the team's celebrating, and I think that the Red Sox were like, "We know this is wrong, but we have to do it."
Yeah, Theo's success is built on being like cold-hearted. They let Pedro go, and obviously the Nomad trade and all that. But that time he was a little too sentimental, and now it's coming back to bite him.
We have $9 million going to Julio Lugo next year.
Yeah.
We have a combined something like $26 million going to the Lowell Ortiz combo.
I think another you're done 14 for Edgar Renteria, though, so that's good. You're up under that.
I think his lease finally expired. And then we have another 14 going to the one, the only JD.
Right.
Who statistically was awesome last year, according to the stats.
Well,
I shouldn't watch the games anymore.
It's one of these things where everybody, people got tired of writing the same story over and over again, so people decided to do like let's go in the opposite direction to try a different meme.
Yeah.
And now there's like an argument that Mike Lowell is, even though he's overpaid, he's like one of the best players in baseball because of his on-base percentage or his defensive abilities or something. I mean, talk about trying to talk yourself into something. Give me a break.
Well, the stats look great, but all I know is we had no guys that the other team was afraid of in a close game. 0 for 9. 0 for 9 in the lineup, but guys that the other team's fans were afraid of. Were you afraid of one guy in the Red Sox last year?
No, I really wasn't.
Was there one guy, maybe like 75% there with Victor Martinez? At least he made your sphincter clench a little bit.
Yeah, no, he's solid. I mean, that was a good trade for them. He's solid, but there's nobody else in that lineup that puts any kind of fear into you. Not even the fear of God, but not even the fear of anything.
Yeah, that's why I want Miguel Cabrera.
But that's a good move for them comparatively, because when you look at the free agent market, I mean, Jason Bay is okay. I know he put up big numbers, but
send him packing.
He had that July and August where he just fell off the map. I mean, you can't have a guy like that making big money.
Well,
and Matt Holliday was terrible in the American League. Matt Holliday, I don't understand the fascination with Matt Holliday. It just shows you how weak the free agent class is when he's like the cream of the crop.
I couldn't agree more. And
probably going to be the Yankees left fielder now. You can play that one back, too.
Oh, no, you're gun shy now with proclamations.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Jason Bay, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't think.
Good luck, Godspeed, good guy. I'm not going to spend $120 million on him.
I read where the Giants were interested in him, and that's perfect for him. Like laid back, San Francisco, the West Coast, National League West. Just that's good for him. He doesn't need the intensity of the East Coast. That's good. It's a good place for J Bay.
I want them to get somebody that when he comes up in the game with guys on base in the 8th inning, you're frightened. I'd have that guy right now.
You know what, though? I mean, I could be proven a liar. My predictions usually don't work out, but I just have a feeling the Red Sox were sending you signals at the end of the year there that don't expect any kind of big splash in the offseason.
I'm fine with it.
They have too many bad contracts, and they're going to keep their powder dry, so to speak, until there's supposedly a better free agent class next year after 2010 that they'll make a splash then. But I think they were kind of giving the fans signals like, don't expect us to, blow the earth away here.
I am totally fine with that, and if they did that, I wouldn't be happy, but right. I would understand it and I would accept it. And I think they're in a position in 2010 that resembles what the Yankees were like in 2008.
Right.
You had a lot of dead money and overpaid guys, and you just kind of had to get rid of the clutter, but you didn't know how to do it. And
you said we'll roll the dice on some young guys and see if any of them come through. Maybe we can put a little magic in a bottle here, but if not, then we'll just wait it out. And
the problem is
in the offseason.
Well, but it worked.
Yeah, it did.
And you could have panicked before that 08 season and brought even more terrible contracts in, but for once they didn't.
No.
And I don't know. I just think that with the Red Sox, when you have $50 million going to Lowell, Ortiz, Lugo, and J.D. Drew,
ouch.
Not to mention the 8 that Dice got, or the 8 that Dice is on the hook for is like 8.3, but also if you factor in that signing bonus, it's a lot more than that.
Right.
And then they also have to extend Beckett.
Yeah.
And they've proven that they only want to spend X amount of money, as we saw when they wouldn't spend the extra $10 million on Teixeira.
Right.
So how is the solution to all of this to throw $130 million at Matt Holliday?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think they're going to go do that. I mean, if they could do some creative trades, if they can hijack Adrian Gonzalez from San Diego because what's his name, Hoyer or whomever just left the Red Sox to go be the Padres GM.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing there is he knows about all the prospects, but if he's still wearing like a Red Sox hat, basically, as the Padres GM and just gives them up, then maybe they'll do some sort of a trade. But
here's the counter for that, though. So we have Lowell, Ortiz, and Youkilis for 3 spots. And now you're going to bring Gonzalez in. So basically, you're going to eat one of those other 2 contracts.
Yeah,
guys aren't going to play. So you're spending $13 million to eat that guy's contract. Then you're giving up all the prospects for Gonzalez, and then I would guess, you're thinking about an extension for him, although I think he's got 2 years left.
That's the thing. He's locked up, though, and he only makes about $20 comparatively. So that's the thing. You could afford to eat a contract because he doesn't make anything.
So you're saying, let's say Ortiz, they just take him out and shoot him. So his contract plus Gonzalez would come out to like $18 million.
Yeah.
So which would be the price that he's probably worth?
He should be worth, exactly.
But does that really make a difference next year?
Well, I don't know. I'm not convinced that he's going to do it in the American League. I mean, I know he hit a lot of home runs in a big ballpark, and he'd presumably hit more at Fenway, but he also feasted on mediocre pitching in the National League West, with the exception of Lincecum, obviously. But I don't know. I'd have to see him do it. It's one thing to do it in laid-back San Diego. It's another thing to do it in Boston in the heat of a Yankees-Red Sox thing and crazy media and rabid fans. I don't know. It's just National League to American League doesn't always work out.
I think people underestimate Red Sox fans.
What do you mean? Like their willingness to welcome somebody into the fold?
I don't know. They're just smart. Like they would get that if the team was like, hey, look, we're in a year of transition. And all this is true, by the way. We have a lot of dead money. We have, our group of prospects that the next wave that we thought were coming up. Those guys, we misevaluated them. They're not as good as we thought. We don't really have any impact guys coming up next year. So we're going to take the hits this year. We don't want to turn a 1-year bad situation into a 6-year bad situation. I think Red Sox fans will get that.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. They got a new breed of fans since 2004. 95% of their fans have hopped on the bandwagon in 2004, and they're used to winning. They've won 2 World Series in 5 years. They're used to going to the playoffs.
Careful, Johnny.
No, I know. I mean, I root for the biggest. I mean, everywhere I go now, all I see is Yankees jackets and Yankee hats.
It is unbelievable.
I'm like, where have you been for 5 years?
You should see my signings.
I mean, living here in Connecticut, it's split 50-50, but for the last 5 years, it's been very Red Sox-centric. Everywhere you go, Red Sox hats and Red Sox jackets, and now literally everywhere I go, I see such an overabundance of Yankee things. I'm like, Now, are these the same people? Do they just take off the Red Sox jacket and put on a Yankee one, which is just absolutely egregious?
It's reversible.
Or is it Yankee fans that weren't wearing the colors for 5 years and now are emboldened by the World Series, which is also outrageous? So,
or people that didn't really like sports that much, but then got into the Yankees World Series. And I'll tell you, there was a few times during the signings when I had the grim face going, grim smile as I thinly smiled as I signed somebody's book who was wearing an obviously recently purchased Yankee hat. That was still had the sticker on it on the side.
Yeah, the brim wasn't even bent or anything, just razor sharp. Yeah. Maybe it's fans of the movies of Kate Hudson that were like, "Wow, this A-Rod guy seems nice. He's good to Kate."
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Miguel Cabrera, though. There's not a lot of teams that could afford him.
Well, supposedly Detroit is anybody could be had because we have 20 fans and we can't afford to pay anybody, so it's like a fire sale, basically.
Right.
I mean, there was talk about the Yankees and Curtis Granderson or Edwin Jackson, and it was like, our prices are insane. Come on down. No offer laughed at or whatever, for the Tigers. So, it's a possibility that it's just they're up for grabs, basically.
It's what we thought would happen last year, but it's happening a year late.
Which you hate to see with Jim Leland. He might be up to 3 cartons a day pretty soon.
Yeah.
When he goes to opening day lineup and every guy is gone. It's all minor leaguers.
Yeah, it's too bad.
3 cigarettes at once and 4 nicotine patches on. That can't be good for Jim.
Well, but I mean, there's really no competition that the Red Sox would have unless the Angels decided to get involved with Miguel Cabrera that I can think of. Like a serious suitor.
I mean, the Mets have a big payroll. They should be involved in some of these things, but who knows what the deal is with their inept management and ownership. I mean, they have to make a splash for their fans now after last year's abomination. So I'm surprised they're not involved in more things. Francesa's been screaming for weeks about how they should just call up and basically pay whatever it costs to get Halladay. But they need a lot of guys. They should be in the mix more. They're a big market team.
I'm with you a little bit on Halladay. I mean, I still like him, and I think he's a stud, and I think he's in that kind of, I wouldn't even say Schilling 2004. I think he's more like Schilling 2001.
Yeah.
So you're going to get that the stretch that Schilling gave everybody from 01 through 04.
Yeah, it's solid.
Possibly. But yeah, the 32-year thing, I saw him get shelled a couple times last year. I don't think he's a tiny bit maybe over the mountain.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Here's my goal. Ask me if this is realistic. Can the Red Sox get Halladay in a deal that includes Dice K, who never gets mentioned in trade talks ever?
Well, I mean, they'd have to eat so much of his money, though.
But it's like they wouldn't, though. See, here's the thing.
Because he's only making $8 million, and you're not factoring. You don't have to pay the posting fee, obviously. They've already.
Yeah, we already paid it.
Right.
We paid it 4 years ago.
No, I mean another team doesn't have to pay that, so his contract is not ridiculous.
So his cap figure is like $8.3 million or whatever cap figure.
Doesn't he have a no trade though? He might have a no trade as part of his deal that Boris got him when he came over from Japan because he wanted to play for them, or he wants to play for some big market team.
Johnny, I feel like I've been punched in the stomach.
Sorry.
Joe Mead, can you Google Dice K no trade?
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Thank you. Well, that would suck because that would ruin my whole plan.
Yeah, because then you could keep Buchholz somehow. You just give him Dice K and
or offer them Dice K and Buchholz. You turn those two guys into Halladay and make 2 lower level prospects.
Well, the interesting thing is their GM was not averse to your theory or was on board with your theory about trading within the division. He didn't think it was that big a deal. He's not we're not going to face him every time. He's not an everyday player. It's
the dumbest thing ever.
It's like we have a 20% chance once every 5 days, and we might miss him when it's a series. So it doesn't really affect us, immediately or directly.
Ridiculous. So what are the Yanks going to do?
It's a good question. I mean, I was thinking when you were talking about the Mike Lowell scenario from 2007. I mean, they're in a semi-similar situation with Hideki Matsui, who was the World Series MVP. But I don't think that there's the same sentimentality to re-sign Hideki. I mean, there might be twinges of that. Wow, the guy hit 6 RBI, knocked in 6 RBIs in the deciding game of the World Series, and now we're going to be like, hey, thanks for the memories. But I think we are going to be like, thanks for the memories.
Well, here's the newsflash, Yankees. You would have won anyway, regardless of those 6 RBI or not.
Right.
You win that game either way.
I mean, I don't think they're going to bring him back, and then I think that they're probably going to re-sign Damon. I think it's just a matter of coming to money. I mean, I saw online that Boris is like, well, Bobby Abreu's contract sets the ground floor for Johnny at 2 years, $19 million. I mean, the Yankees would bring him back for 2 years. Allegedly, what I read was that Boris wants to get him 4 years. There's no way they're giving him 4 years, but maybe they could do 2 with an option, you know?
I thought that Abreu contract was fair, and I think Johnny Damon is worth the same price.
I agree. I mean, he was talking, Boris was trying to pound his chest and say, well, they give Jorge Posada a 4-year deal, so Johnny deserves a 4-year deal. But I mean, I would like to see Johnny Damon back. I think that would be a good move. And if they don't have Matsui, I mean, they want to keep the DH spot open, allegedly, for, to give guys a break. The older guys, A-Rod will DH occasionally into Teixeira and Posada and Damon, so you could use that as sort of a way station for guys. But now they're talking about bringing up Austin Jackson, who's been like their, prime outfield prospect for a couple years now. So he may be in the mix.
A little overhyped.
I think so. He's a little overhyped. And I don't know what they're going to do with their starting pitching. I mean, I don't know if Pettit's coming back. You don't know if you can get another year out of him, although I think he probably will ultimately come back. And then it's the same debate they've had for years now about, like, do you put Jabba and Hughes in the rotation or the bullpen? Do you get another starter? Kick the tires on bench sheets. That doesn't excite me in the least.
I could see George, in some bed drinking out of a straw. Just go, give me Lackey.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to be around much longer. I want Lackey.
Well, that's the part. I mean, hopefully his kids would just close the door and be like, don't ignore Dad. But because I forget who Lackey's agent is. Maybe it's Boris again, and he said he wants Barry Zito contract. I mean, give me a break for John Lackey. I don't think so, unless the Mets do it, which they probably will. But I don't really have much interest in John Lackey.
Somebody's going to give it to him.
Probably.
He'll get it. His numbers are just good enough that somebody will talk themselves into it.
You know what they were talking about, as I read somewhere as a possibility, that the Braves want to get rid of Derek Lowe because they're looking to cut payroll, that maybe Derek Lowe in the Bronx.
You mean, he's under contract and they'll try fire sale him, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Trade him for some prospects.
I'd love the Red Sox to bring him back.
D-Lo, he loves it there.
I like D-Lo. Yeah.
He and Miguel Cabrera on the same team could be pretty interesting.
I got to say that
road trips.
I'm going to be honest, John. I'm going to be candid since it's Thanksgiving and all. The thought of having to watch Ortiz, J.D. Drew, Clay Buchholz, and Dice K again, not high on my list.
No.
I am not looking forward to next season. I really hope they add one guy to the team that I'll be like, hey, it's that guy.
Derek Lowe and Miguel Cabrera. I'm intrigued by that.
How about this? Derek Lowe, Miguel Cabrera, Roy Halladay, and Pedro. Getting the band back together.
I was just going to say that.
Miguel Cabrera will give him number 24, tell him to grow his hair and dreadlocks. Let's get the band back together. Dave Roberts, first base coach.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there you go.
Need to do something.
Hey, the whole gang's there.
Need to do something. I don't know. I don't like... Oh, Joe Mead?
Yes, Dice K does have a full no-trade clause.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, that ruins
So 3 more years unless he approves of a trade.
Oh, fantastic.
Good job, Red Sox.
$100 million and a full no trade for a 5-inning pitcher.
The full no trade is always a good idea.
Oof.
I always want to eliminate your options. Oh my God!
Well, especially when they were negotiating just with themselves, since he either went back to Japan or he signed with them.
Well, at least the Celtics don't look like they're 100 years old. Got that going.
I know. I've been worried about you. They were so hyped up, and now they're not getting any younger.
No, sir. Not getting any younger.
How's the book tour going? Is it still ongoing?
Book tour's done.
You were Denver, was it? That's the end of the road. You have one in Vegas in December, though.
Probably pushing that back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty worn.
How's your thumb? How's the hand?
Hand's okay. Thumb is a little swollen.
Swine flu?
I think it's just permanent now. It's not really a swine flu. It's like a modified version of swine flu, and
you just have mono basically for the rest of your life. Is that what you're looking at? I'm
caught up on my TV shows. I got caught up on the Ruins. I got caught up on Survivor. So I'm good. I feel like my life is coming back. Yeah, my life's back on track. Let's talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm quickly.
All right. Surprisingly, it really wasn't. I was going to say it was kind of a surprisingly sappy ending, but then he sort of rectified it at the end as only he can by demanding that she call Julie Louis-Dreyfus and admit that she left the cup there. But it was sweet, she left the show to be with him, and it was nice. And the Seinfeld reunion thing was kind of surreal, but it was like a great hologram to see like the sets and them acting together in the show, and kind of like an envisioning of what would happen 10 years down the line. That was cool.
I loved it, and it reminded me of something. It reminded me how much I miss Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed his performance. I loved every scene with him and Larry David. And I I just got such a kick out of it, and it just made me think, like, Seinfeld, what is he worth, $700 million?
Oh, yeah.
Like, can't he just be on Curb Your Enthusiasm? Like, it's all gravy for him at this point. Like,
right.
There's no downside for him going on the show and killing it every episode he's in. And
like, just seeing them interacting when they talked about Jason Alexander's book.
It was great.
And talking about the having said that, that was funny.
All the scenes they had were great. Every scene with them was a home run. And I just, like the other three, take them or leave them. But I just thought that having Seinfeld and David together was a home run.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, the show is funny, and we exchanged emails about this, but the Funkhauser joke at the table read.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I almost hacked up a lung. I laughed for 10 minutes, much to my wife's chagrin.
It was great.
We were going out the other day to do, husband and wife errands, and that was on HBO 47 or something, and I'm like, wait a second, I just want to watch this again, because I knew the joke was coming up. It was that episode, and just watched that part. It still made me laugh. Just a phenomenal job.
I was thinking about it. So, Cheers is the show of the 80s for me. Seinfeld, obviously, the 90s. I think Curb for this decade.
Yeah, for
sitcoms.
Comedies, yeah, right.
For comedies, yeah.
Because Mad Men is just fantastic, but...
Well, no, maybe for drama, that becomes a whole other debate with Sopranos and The Wire and Mad Men, but for comedies, no-brainer, hands down, Curb.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. I mean, it's implausible, but it's good. Like the whole thing with the coffee guy, if there was some guy selling coffee on the Paramount lot or whatever lot it is, and he's given, trouble to Larry David, like that guy wouldn't be dead in 5 minutes. Not just fired, but they wouldn't completely get rid of him.
He'd be exterminated.
Like you're making Larry David, who's made, NBC $400 quadrillion, you're making him uncomfortable. Like we're going to leave the coffee guy here,
Right. I also thought it was interesting that they hinted on that the unhappiness with the original ending. I was fascinated.
Yeah, that was funny. Like we already screwed up one finale. Yeah, that was funny.
Jason Alexander, where do you stand on him right now?
I always think of Jason Alexander from when House and I went out to L.A. a couple years ago to see you and do the running diary of the opening day of the NCAA tournament. And you said, there's a lot of celebrities in this neighborhood. And I said, when we went out to go get coffee, I said, I demand to see a celebrity. And we saw Jason Alexander. He walked right in front of us.
It was like I had ordered him from the barista.
Because I said, I'm demanding to see a celebrity on this trip to the coffee place. And sure enough, I was hoping for a Uma Thurman or a Courtney Cox, but we got Jason Alexander. But we'll take what we can get, So I saw him, and I don't know. He's I don't know.
I saw the contest happen to be on last night.
Yeah.
For the 1,000th time. And I do think that he was much, much funnier back then for whatever reason.
Well, you know what made, I think that he's okay, but what made me appreciate him all the more is when Larry David was like, I can play the role of George and I'll be George, which was funny, but you're like, that really is that really is he made that his own. Like you sort of appreciated him there because you're like, yeah, another actor. Maybe it's just because he was the guy that played him and we saw it for 10 years, but
I thought that was brilliant because, as this Curb Your Enthusiasm show's gone on, there has been that counter thought, and I think I've even written it about, now we know Larry David was George Costanza, and that Jason Alexander loses points because he's clearly just doing a Larry David impersonation, but I thought they did a nice job of debunking that.
Exactly. That was funny. That was funny.
I really enjoyed it, and I got to say I'm sad because other than Survivor and The Ruins, which are 2 reality shows, I have no shows right now.
No, but something's coming up that you're going to be excited about.
Which one? 24 Lost?
No.
What?
Jersey Shore.
Oh, when's that?
I think it starts December 3rd.
Oh, you're right.
Because I'm so excited for that. That just looks phenomenal.
We had one weekend in the Jersey Shore and really almost got killed.
Yeah.
Was it, or 4 days?
Yeah, right.
It was. We almost got beaten up.
More than once.
Yeah. Probably the closest I've ever come to getting beaten up, the Jersey Shore. So that'll be a good one.
We lived that show 15 years ago.
And the important thing to remember is that nobody can get kicked out of that show. Because there's no Boone and Murray rules about you fight, you're off the show. No, they want you to fight on the Jersey Shore.
Absolutely. And talk about having no self-realization. Those people just don't care. There's just no thinking they're too over the top, or maybe this is a little much, or maybe I shouldn't say that. And based on the previous, there's none of that. It looks so good.
Yeah, but,
Sunday night used to be like such a great night for TV, though, because you had the Curb Your Enthusiasm right into Mad Men, and now they're both over.
I think it's a huge, huge hit. We lost both.
Yeah, that's only one to keep going.
Not a scripted show that I like. You know what I'm going to do? I got the Shield box set, and I think I'm just going to start plowing through them. I finally too many people tell me that they like the show, and I've finally gotten over the chickless thing. I have it on good authority that is actually 5'7", which I can work with 5'7" for my renegade cop who kills everybody.
As an intimidator, okay.
Yeah, I thought he was shorter than that. 5'7" is it's reasonable. If you can be a feisty 5'7".
Sure, scrappy, like a bantam.
But I do have enough people that I respect telling me that we missed out. Hey, one thing happened. House came to the Portland signing.
Yes.
And we went out for dinner after the Portland.
Has he been to every signing?
No, he went to 4. He decided to come to the Portland Seattle ones. Because we went to Nike and he wanted to go to that, and then we went to a big dinner after the Blazers Pistons game, and it was a seafood restaurant called Jake's Crawfish House or something like that. So House ordered. We got oysters and also fried oysters. So House had like about 12 to 15 fried or raw oysters.
Nice.
Follow that up with a whole bowl of clam chowder. Not a cup, a bowl.
A bowl.
A bowl of clam chowder. As he was eating that, he was drinking a Bloody Mary.
Nice.
Follow that up with the beet salad with blue cheese.
Beet salad?
Beet salad with blue cheese.
Interesting. Probably the first person under the age of 65 to order that.
And then for his entree, it was something it was like a jambalaya, but it was in a stew.
Oh, my God.
It came in this giant crock that he ladled whatever into a whole big bowl, and it seemed like the bowl would have been enough, but there were really 2 bowls because the crock was gigantic. So he eats one bowl of that. At this point, it was like watching an animal. It was like
a shark.
It was like when you see like there's a dog and somebody has left a pot roast on the ground and the dog just can't stop eating the pot roast. So now he's about midway through his second bowl of this thing and he just won't stop, and we're all kind of like stunned. And then finally he just stops eating, and then for like his face was like kind of whitish green, and for the next couple minutes he was like almost went catatonic. Like, it was the first time I've ever been worried about him health-wise. I didn't know whether he was going to throw up or pass out or what was going to happen. And he's just staring straight ahead, and we're all kind of looking at him. And then we were like, House, are you all right? And he's like, and he just got up. So
really?
Now we don't know where House went.
Oh, no.
About 6 minutes passes. House comes back fresh as a daisy.
Oh.
And we were like, did something bad happen in the bathroom? And he's like, oh, no, I'm fine. I was just having hot flashes. And then proceeds to eat an entire thing of bread pudding for dessert. It was... Let me tell you something. Joe House needs an eating show.
Oh, my God, absolutely.
This would have been, we would have been able to cut the commercial right as he was catatonic, and we're all like legitimately concerned for his health. And then would have come back after commercial. He's fine, and then eats a whole thing of bread pudding with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was great. He needs an eating show.
The combo of the Bloody Mary and the jambalaya may have been a questionable choice.
That was the best part after, as he was going over what might have gone wrong for that 5 minutes, he blamed the Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the fact that he had raw and fried oysters combined with clam chowder, combined with a beet salad with blue cheese, then a hot stew.
Right.
So, yeah. It was great, Johnny.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just was having hot flashes. That's fantastic.
The other great part with House was that, we're in Nike and they were like the whole behind the scenes, how they make the shoes and stuff. And he was about as animated and involved as I think I've ever seen him. With anything that didn't involve like porn or something.
Or food.
He was so engaged that I honestly didn't think he'd want to leave.
Nice.
It was really interesting though. They had like so they have all these, it's like a giant campus. Mm-hmm. So they have like, there's got to be like 50 buildings, and each building is named after an athlete. So, like in college, we had Wheeler, Lehigh. So in this building, it's like, all right, we'll meet at the Prefontaine building at 12:15.
Nice.
All right, I'll see you at Dan Fouts at 2 o'clock.
Is there really a Dan Fouts?
There's a Dan Fouts building.
Oregon,
yeah, there's a Dan Fouts building. And then so each building has like the memorabilia of that specific athlete. And like the Prefontaine building was actually pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
And they had to get a little politically correct. Like there's got to be the Meehan building and
sure.
the Lisa Leslie building, all that stuff. But it's gigantic. We were walking around and they were like, "Hey, you never know who's going to show up." Like 5 minutes later, we're walking. It's Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, awesome!
And with some other guy, and it's like, "Hey, meet Ken." And it's like, "Hey, Ken, how you doing?" And he's just at Nike that day because they bring the athletes there to try to work with them on the shoes and how to get the exact shoe for their feet. And there's like this whole process. It was pretty fascinating.
I wonder if they've ever like had to change the name of a building, like they misfired, like they named it after somebody that they thought was going to be great and he didn't pan out.
I was thinking about that.
The Harold Miner building or something, you know.
They should have got early. Harold Miner would have been a good one. I guess you could say like, I don't know, maybe a Penny Hardaway building would be a little weird.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good call.
Like after 3 years, it would have seemed like, yeah, let's give him a building.
They named it after his workout, Penny Hardaway's workout building.
It's pretty amazing though, and it's all outdoors.
That's neat.
All that stuff. Yeah, I like Portland. We had obviously it either rained or was dreary the whole time, but
sure. We went to Portland 10 years ago for the Blue Boys wedding. That's a nice city. That in Seattle.
And let me tell you something. It hasn't changed in 11 years, except for the Rose Garden, the basketball arena they built. But
yeah, they built a new one, right?
I had to tell you that story about House.
That's excellent. I love that. I'm fine. I was just having hot flashes. Fantastic.
Johnny?
Yes.
How worried should I be this week?
About the Sox?
Yeah.
Of doing something stupid?
Yeah.
No, they won't. Not this week. They're going to wait till panic later at the GM meetings.
So what
I'd say like a 2.
Joe B, do you like that new wrinkle to the game?
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
I love it, Bill.
Johnny, enjoy the holidays.
Thanks,
talk
buddy.
To you soon.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the B.S. Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
This concludes another installment of the B.S. Report. And with all the talk about sports, Bill Simmons neglected to mention this important news, which frankly cannot go unstated. Whether tailgating, watching the game with friends, or just really hungry, attack your hunger with Subway Catering. Piled high platters starting at $25, giant subs, cookies, drinks, and more. So find a reason to party, put Subway Catering in charge, and get busy feasting. Subway. Cater fresh.